Hello, and welcome to another Trading Records video. So, built up a big pile again, taking a few bits out of my collection, been picking up a few bits here and there, all over the place, little bits and pieces. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little sequel video to this, where I get the money that I got for trading it and go out to all the record shops and get some nice new ones. So, I think I'm planning a trip out with my buddy Matthew soon, so that should be good. Without further ado, we'll just go through them and I'll give a brief overview of each and kind of why I'm shifting it or whatever. So, the first one is Wednesday morning. Wednesday morning, 3 a.m., Simon & Garfunkel. This is not a bad record by any means, but it is the weakest in the sort of 5-album canon from the iconic duo. I felt this was very undeveloped for Simon and Garfunkel. They really hadn't quite got their sound on this record. I'd say even more so, actually, Paul Simon wasn't very developed on this album. I mean, they really did develop a lot more on their next album, Sound of Silence. And I'm not a big fan of Art Garfunkel. I'm not mad keen on his voice. Very sort of, a portrait of the American landscape. That kind of vibe, do you know what I mean? I mean, Paul Simon has that sound as well, but he has a very relaxing, chilled out kind of sound to his voice, which I like, and he tells little stories with his songs. But this is far more traditional folk than it is the iconic Simon & Garfunkel sound, so I'm shifting it just to save a bit of space. Next up, we've got a bit of Thin Lizzy with Renegade. Not a bad album by any means. This is a later album in their career from about 1981. I listened to it the other day and it's actually pretty decent. Some good lyrical themes and some good riffs and whatnot. But I'm just shifting it, same as the Simon & Garfunkel one, just to save space and free up some space for some records which appeal to me a lot more. It's in good condition as well, actually, so that's really good for trade, that one. Next up is an album which I love. It is the Jimi Hendrix Experience with Are You Experienced? You may be thinking, why are you getting rid of this? Well, I am upgrading this record. This is a 1979 French pressing, I believe. I didn't get it too long ago, actually. I showed it on the channel. But I was never majorly satisfied with the sound, so I recently went in for this. This is an American pressing of the album. This is the American version of the album. It was released, I think, about 6 months after the original, actually, and they incorporated quite a few of the singles into the track list, so it's an improvement, even in terms of the contents of the album. But in terms of sound quality, this is miles better than that pressing. Much more present bass, way more top end, much more dynamics. Just everything is better on this. Sounds so much better. So, proper upgrade. Copy this. My only small issue with this is that it's a bit warped, but it's not like a specific part of the record which is warped. It's like half the record is slightly warped, like slightly lifts off the turntable. I honestly can't be bothered to replace it for another one which might have the same issue, so it's not really a major issue, but that's a big upgrade, that one. Okay, so next up we got a bit of Electric Light Orchestra. This is The Light Shines On Volume 2. This is a compilation album from the late 70s of some of the early ELO material, so bits off the second album, ELO 2, and also a couple of tracks from the first album, I believe. This is an example of a record which I really don't like from an artist which I adore. So I should really explain, I'm not a big fan of early ELO. I think that Jeff Lynne's vocals are so awkward and uncomfortable and kind of sheepish. I mean, Jeff Lynne never was an amazing singer by any stretch of the imagination, but his voice drastically improved, along with the music as well, on albums like Face the Music and New World Record. Really not a fan of the earlier stuff, although I am, bizarrely, a big fan of the first ELO album, which I don't even consider to be an ELO album. It's partly a Roy Wood album, it's partly Jeff Lynne. That album really works for me, I love that one. But the second, third and fourth albums from ELO, I just cannot stand. I cannot stand the vocals. He just has this really awkward way about singing. It's like he doesn't go up to the note, but he sort of glides up to the note. He sort of, instead of going aeroplane, he goes aeroplane, hello Mr. Radio. When he also does that rock and roll thing with the screaming vocals where he's like call it. Speaking of ELO, also trading in a couple of duplicates which I've been coming across. Best of ELO, wonderful album cover. Always love the medal. This is from about 78, 79. I think it came out before the Discovery album came out. So it's all the kind of big hits up to that point, Telephone Line, Living Thing, Strange Magic, Sweet Talking Woman, we all know it, we all love it. But I already own a slightly nicer copy than this, so that's going to the shop. And also my favourite ELO album of all time, A New World Record, another copy of that. And also an ELO album which I'm booting out of my collection, El Dorado, which is a fantastic album, actually. But again, I just don't like the vocals. Next up, we have a bit of 80s like stadium rock, I guess. Eye of the Tiger by Survivor. This isn't a bad album, actually. I listened to it. It's quite a sweet sort of rock pop album in that classic, like epic 80s glam rock, stadium rock. I don't know what you want to call it. Yeah, it's actually not a bad album. Obviously, Eye of the Tiger is a brilliant song. And not all the songs are as good as that one. But yeah, they're not bad. Next up, we have one of the all-time classic albums, Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys. This is the original UK mono, I believe. I underrated this pressing for a long time. I've had this record for years, not this exact copy. And I always thought it was like unlistenable, just totally crunchy, no bass. But I was re-listening to it recently and actually listening to this copy, which I got. And it doesn't sound too bad. The vocals are very weird, admittedly. The vocals, not so great, but it's not a bad record. I suppose it just sounds typical of what a lot of records sounded like at that time, really. So yeah, I found a spare copy and trading it in. It's slightly beat up, but I'm sure they'll be able to sell this. I mean, it's a total classic, isn't it? I've heard some reports that that pressing is like stereo, summed down to mono. So it gives it a really weird sound and it's a bit out of phase, apparently. I'm not entirely sure about that. Next up, we got a bit of Yes. What was this album called? 90125. This was like them crossing into the 80s pop period quite successfully, actually. There's some good tunes on here. I think it was produced by Trevor Horn. Yeah, it was, yeah. I'm not a massive Yes fan, and I could probably find a nicer copy than this in future. Next up, we have The Police. With one of their classic albums, Regatta de Blanc. Not a bad record, actually. I've got a slightly nicer copy than this. This has got my favourite song on it, Walking on the Moon. I have a bit of a funny relationship with the Police. I think Sting is a bit of a knob, and not a massive fan of him. But I do love the drums of the Police and the whole, reggae punk atmosphere that they had. There are a few songs in this album which are kind of hilariously terrible, such as On Any Other Day. I mean, the lyrics to that are like appallingly bad, but I like things like that on an album. I like to have a laugh whilst listening to music which is good, if that makes sense. Next up, bit of John Lennon, Double Fantasy. I think if you're into Yoko Ono, this isn't a bad album, but I'm not into Yoko Ono. And also the Rock and Roll LP as well. It's a nice John Lennon solo album there. Next up, the first album by Peter Gabriel, which is one that I do enjoy a lot, actually. This is one of my favourite albums from him. The reason why I'm trading this is I found an original copy of this, and the album cover is much more vibrant. Here's the original, and the artwork is just, the printing is so much nicer, and it's the car has got such a more vibrant colour. I watched the documentary all about hypnosis and how they did mention this album cover in that documentary, and apparently they scratched the image so that every single drop of rain on the car would really stand out. So yeah, if I can have a copy of this, which the artwork looks much better and the printing looks much better, I will. So gonna keep this copy. Next up, we have Jeff Wayne's version of War of the Worlds. I think this is quite a good album. I've got it on CD. Just found this copy in slightly bashed up condition. Next up, we have that Freddie Mercury album that he did with the opera singer, I believe. I think I gave a quick listen to this, and it's just not my thing. I'm sure if you enjoy opera, then it's wonderful, but it's just not for me. One from the late 80s, I think. Fleetwood Mac, Greatest Hits, really good album, beautiful gatefold. Always really like that gatefold. This has got a nice glossy cover, this one. The one I've got is more of a matte look. This is a really good way to listen to the early Fleetwood Mac stuff with Peter Green, you know, tracks like Albatross, Oh Well Part 1 and 2, things like that. The good old blues stuff. If you want to kind of get into that stuff without having the albums, this is the way to go. Paul Simon with Graceland. Nice copy of that. Decent. I'm having to give some of these a bit of a clean because when you pick up these records around boot fairs and secondhand shops, they are just very, very scruffy and you need to kind of wash off the dust and the dirt. Next up, a couple of copies of Bad by Michael Jackson. This is probably my favourite Michael Jackson album. Very, very close to Thriller, in my opinion. I even like the songs that people don't like very much, such as Liberian Girl and Speed Demon. One of my all-time favourite albums, but I currently have 4 copies of this, which is absurd. So I'm keeping the 2 nicer copies and trading the slightly rough copies. Here's another one with a price tag on it. And it once cost $3.99 in the clear out section there. Next up we got some Rush. We have Exit Stage Left, live album from Rush. I got pretty lucky and I picked up someone's entire Rush collection that they had donated. Been going to a lot of rummage sales, so like sort of pop-up charity shops. I went in the records and someone had donated one hell of a lot of Rush. So instead of having to like collect all the Rush albums over years, I just instantly picked up loads of them. But I'm trading the live LPs because I'm still kind of getting into them and I'm not a massive fan of Rush and I'm not a massive fan of live albums, but you got to appreciate the gatefold on this one. It sort of incorporates elements of all of their album covers, which I really like. I think this is from the early 80s, this one. Also another one called All the World's a Stage. This is from the 70s, I believe, this one. Going back to Michael Jackson once again, we have Thriller. This is a nice 180 gram pressing of the album. I'm shifting it because I have like 3 original copies, so I don't need that one. Also, same deal with Off the Wall. Here's a nice new copy of that, and I've got a couple of old copies of this, which I kind of prefer the sound of. Next up, we have a bit of Genesis with Foxtrot. I love this album, but I'm shifting it because I recently found a much nicer copy, which I will show in a future video. We have a bit of Aphex Twin with Window Licker. Oh my god, that album cover, Jesus. Scary stuff. The reason why I'm getting rid of this is because Window Licker was never really a personal favourite Aphex Twin tune of mine. I've just never been a big fan of the vocals, which are like him layering his voice and whatnot. Next up, we have a bit of Chic. I think I showed this in the last one, but I kept it for a little while to listen to it, but now I'm getting rid of it. Bit of classic disco. So many recognisable tunes. Also got a bit of ABBA here. ABBA Greatest Hits Volume 2. The reason why I'm getting rid of this is because I picked up a best of for ABBA, which has a lot more stuff on it. It's a double album, so you get a lot more of the classics, so I don't really need this one anymore. But this one has got quite a pleasant gatefold on it. Nice blue colour, all the band there looking good. We have Bjorn wearing his Jimmy Savile outfit. Now then, ooh, jingle jangle jewellery. Next up, Quadrophenia, classic soundtrack to a classic movie. But this is a slightly beat up copy and I have it on CD. It's the same as the War of the Worlds thing, but I do greatly appreciate that Brighton Pier is in the background, and that's a pavilion on the end of Brighton Pier, which is now demolished, and in its place is the Fun Fair. Next up we have Chariots of Fire by Vangelis. He did this shortly after Blade Runner, but same as most Vangelis releases, I feel there are moments of sheer bliss and sheer beauty, but there are also moments which just are not that great. So there's some beautiful ambient moments on here, which are, frankly akin to Brian Eno and people like that. And also there's a track on here with like a choir, which I really like. Next up, we have a 12-inch single. We have the Bloodhound Gang with Fire, Water, Burn. This is like an anthem for arsonists all over the world. Up there with Fire by Jimi Hendrix, Firestarter by The Prodigy, Light My Fire by The Doors. This is one of those tunes. And it's got a couple of nice sort of dance remixes on the B-side. I think this was an American release, actually. I don't think this was ever even officially released here in the UK, so it must be an import of some kind. But it cost £1 at some point in its life, which is a sticker which I cannot remove, unfortunately. Yeah, parental advisory sticker on the back there, unusual, and a very, very spooky, haunting photograph on the cover of a nun. Next up, we have a couple of records by the Thompson Twins. This album's Quick Step and Sidekick. I actually like this album more than Into the Gap, but I'm not a massive fan of the Thompson Twins. I think the music is very good, actually. It's sort of very good, what's the word? New wave, early 80s new wave. But to be honest, I find it hard to listen to the Thompson Twins because the singer is so cringe. He has this way about him which is just like really awkward and like, you know, I just can't stand it. It's just so cringe. It's just like, I saw you at the station and I thought you were my girlfriend. Like, it's like that, you know? Like, even on this one, I mean, they just do the cringiest poses on all their album covers. Like, they look like a children's entertainment band. And, I mean, the fucking ponytail. The ponytail. Oh, they've got to go. They've just got to go. And finally, to end things, we have a couple of spare copies which I've acquired of Queen's Greatest Hits. These two are slightly more beat up copies. I have a slightly nicer one in my collection. It's got this one, which is a little bit beat up on the outside, but the record's nice. And also this one. So thank you very much for watching. Yeah, I shall see you very soon. Hopefully I'll get a little bit of money for those and I can take that money. And I believe me and Matthew are going to go out and we're going to go to Rolling Records. We might go to Idle Moments, which is a shop in, I think, sort of North London. And they sell Japanese records. So we're definitely going to take a look down there and hopefully spend some money. So that might not be next week's video. That might be the week after. But it's something to look forward to. For me and, well, hopefully for you as well. I shall see you all very, very soon and thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.